All right. Good Friday evening, everyone. Welcome to Research and Ramblings of a Mage, aka Ramblings of Me. Hope you all are doing great this week. Hope you all had a good week and are ready to have an even better weekend because that's what we're starting our weekends off here. And before the chat gets active and starts jumping around, yes, stressful things have happened this week. No, we will not be discussing them. Please do not put it in the chat. Let's avoid that. Okay? Thank you. We appreciate that. Because we are trying to keep this a bit more upbeat and uplifted and all things considered. And also, I can't believe I even have to put this, but please, let's do our best to keep the chat within the PG-13-ish area. Sunday, we had a few things pop up in chat, and YouTube decided they didn't like that. They didn't like that at all, and they've been letting me know this. But that's cool. So we can do that. I have faith in y'all. I know y'all, you're good people. I know you won't have any problems with that. All right, let's get this shindig started, shall we? First off, we got to say hi to everyone. Iris, hey, you made it. Long time no see, girl. Glad to see you. Bestest Wolf, you made it. Glad to see you. Giovanna, you're back. Always nice to see you. Luna, welcome. Born, hey, you made it, and on time. Look at you. All right, Mangrove, welcome back. GMA, greetings, good to see you. Jade, welcome. Edis, welcome. I apologize if I mess up any names here. I really do. I'll do my best. Caitlin Rose, welcome. Is it Ira? Is that right? Ira? I'll try. I mess them up all the time. I'm sorry. That southern twang just messes me up a lot. I do apologize. Ira. All right, cool. I'll try to keep that straight. Thank you. Okay, so this week has been uber busy for me. What is it? Kaylee, welcome. We have got a lot of new faces up in chat lately. It's great to see this community growing. That makes me so happy. I appreciate it. And I'm glad y'all choose to actually spend your Friday nights with me listening to me rant and ramble. Well, I guess you might also be here for the questions more than the rambling. I'm not sure. But this week has been really busy for me. I've been jumping through hoops, helping friends and family, and attempting to keep up with my spell work, my work, and just my own personal research. As y'all know, you probably figured it out. We completed October and we are now into November. So I am now working with the next Lady of the Fae for the Unseelie Court to start taking down notes for the Winter Fae pathworking. So far, it does look like I will be doing all the note taking and then the pathworking the following year. This sucks because that means I have to literally wait till next winter to do the pathworking, but I'm getting all these notes down ahead of time. So at Yule, when the Fae courts switch over, I will start taking notes with the Seelie court. So we can expect probably another year before I can start getting these Fae pathworkings published. Because as y'all know, I don't publish anything or put it out there unless I know it works, it's solid, and it's good to go. So I am going to actually have to walk these pathworkings myself before I can actually say, yeah, they work. But from everything that I'm getting in my notes and that I've been reading over when I can, oh man, it's looking solid and it's looking like a lot of fun. I'm super hyped about it. See what we got. Truth and Alchemy. Welcome. Good to see you. Let's see. Remember to like this live stream. Yes, do be sure to smash the like button. It helps the channel out a lot. Lets YouTube know y'all like the work we're doing, and they make sure to share it with other people who would be interested in it. That's a big, big help. Also, because we are getting busier in here, you can definitely, if a question goes missed or something and it's really important, you can use the super chats to make sure I do see that. Or if you just want to donate to the channel and the work we're doing, you can also do that. Oh, I'm also supposed to remind you, the Halloween limited edition mugs. We do still have a few of those on sale. So if you still want one, make sure you go to the workingdragonmystic.com and click the merch tab and go to and find that limited edition coffee mug. They're absolutely gorgeous. I love them. And yes, we are considering doing another contest for a Yule mug. So stay tuned for that, for those artistic people. If you're me and you can't draw a stick figure, well, you know. No, the background is new. We have a bunch of new backgrounds that I can hang up and switch up back here to keep things a little lively, a little new, so you don't get so boring. And that is, I don't know if I've had this one hung up yet. I don't remember. So this might be the first time ever up. I don't know for sure. Oh, Giovanni, you confused me, girl. I was sitting there, I was like number 7. What like number 7? I I thought it was a question. Oh God. Oh, it's been a long week. Thank you for the like, Giovanni. Thank you. But yeah, so I've been diving in deep there and working with the lady for this month, the Fae lady for this month, which has been really interesting. I have been continuing my Cliffothic works. I actually ended up doing longer with the with Abramelech than I thought I would. We're just now finishing up that, and as you all see, I forgot to turn my phone off again. Oh Lord. I'm glad you all don't do to me like my friends do. Anytime we're in a meeting or something, the person who forgets to turn their phone off buys dinner. I'd have to buy a lot of food, wouldn't I? I'd be broke. Whew. Okay. So I finished that up this week, and I am looking to start the next sphere, which I currently can't even remember what sphere that is. Tomorrow or Monday, can't remember. I'm hoping to start it tomorrow because that is my day off. So I'm hoping to get a little extra research done then, which obviously I'll be filling you in on that. Either I might fill you in a little on Magical Coffee Hour, or I may wait until the Research and Ramblings next week. We'll see. See what we got here in some of the questions before I get too backlogged in my ramblings here. All right, working with Lucifer and Hecate, had some amazing experiences so far. That's awesome to hear, Josh. It really is. Josh, blessed be to all, protections to all. Thanks for making the content you make, Dragon. Josh, my man, you are definitely welcome, and thank you for being here. And thank you for the protection wishes. Those are always welcome. And do feel free to call me Drake. We're pretty informal here. But I do appreciate it, my man. Yule stick figures sound good to me. Okay, well, since I don't vote, I don't know if I get to enter anyway. I'm not the one who votes on the winners. I make sure I'm out of it because that way y'all can't say I have a bias. Kelly Dallas. No, it is. It is. Oh, Kel. Oh, yeah. Bugs up to you for knowing what that sound was. You're the first person who's caught me in months. Oh, that's great. I love that. Thank you. Yes, that is the codec. Josh, see, I am among my people here. You know the sound. You know the sound. Fair warning, when my wife gets back from her detachment, if I let this out of my sight, I don't know what she will do to my text tones or ringtone. So, hopefully, yeah. She usually steals my phone around this time of year and does something. Uh, Occasionally she'll switch it to your mean one, Mr. Grinch, because apparently I'm the Grinch around you. So she's tricksy like that. Got to keep an eye on her. She's sharp. See what we got here. Oh, Missy Joy, thank you for the super chat. What does it mean when you wake up and see visions on mandalas in a grid in the ceiling? Well, that can be tricky because a lot of it will depend a lot on what the vision you're seeing is. And if it's a specific grid, like the grid has a specific meaning or usage or energy flow assigned to it, that would also need to be taken into consideration. So, my go to advice on this is to write down what you saw in your journal, make a notation of the grid, see if you can get the grid to match up with any grids that you're aware of or that you can find in research, and then sit down with the information of the vision and the grid and meditate on it to find that meaning. That's my go-to. See, Kelly, that's my ringtone as well. Oh, that's your ringtone. Awesome. See, yes, I'm just in my spiritual zone these days. It's so wonderful and exciting. Been stuck for so long, and now we're getting somewhere. That is awesome to hear. That is awesome to hear. Yes, I'm so happy to hear that. I love to hear when people's making progress. When are you going to do the video on Lucifer? Giovanna, very soon. Actually, him and I are finalizing the notes. So I'm hoping if life isn't as crazy as this last week to shoot that video this week. So I'm wanting to have it out early December or sometime in November if I can. But it is going to be actually shot and uploaded very soon. It's just a matter of getting it into the release schedule. But him and I are actually finishing up those notes now. Well, not like right this moment, because obviously I'm talking to you all, but you know what I mean. Josh, man, thank you for the donation, man. Appreciate that. Oh, I did have a question about when offering, say, a drink or food. What do you do with it after? Eat it or dispose of it? Okay, when you make an offering of food, they're going to take all the energy out of it. So you don't really want to eat it. Some people can say this can actually be insulting because it's like you take back something you gave, even though they've already taken the energy. So I generally wouldn't eat it. There are very specific rituals where you can eat it, which I'll talk about in a second. But in most cases, you'll just want to dispose of it. Most people will take it outside, pour it out on the ground or something like that, or set the food out for animals. And all those are fine if you can do it. Most of us can't do it. So you can dispose of it in any way. You don't have to be worried about being respectful or anything because everything in it that they took as the offering, they have already taken out of the food. You're just left with the physical husk. So you can just toss it in the trash if you want to, or in the case of a beverage, just pour it down the sink. I know that seems a little less ceremonial and all that, and some of the more religious or spiritual people might not like it, and I get that. I do totally understand that, respect that. But for those of us who we either just can't do it, or we're just not the uber religion or spiritual side of magic. It works just fine, and they will take no disrespect at it at all. Let's see here. Got opinions on the 5 years of we're in big shit. Well, okay, Caitlin, I don't have this. I can answer this to an extent. So you're asking about the last 5-year period where there's been a massive energetic movement happening. And you see this amongst different traditions and everything. And actually, there's multiple energies moving. So, for example, to dragon magic practitioners who's worked their way up high enough, you'll notice there's a massive amount of maelstrom energy that's been building around the earth for the last 10, 15 years. And it recently is like that bubble has just popped and that change is just flooding the earth right now. And here's the thing, when that change comes, what we do with that change, how we handle the change, how we compose ourselves to it, that's going to create the outcome. So it's very important we stay mindful and be the best people we can be as that change is coming. From a Nordic point of view, according to even Odin himself, which kind of threw me for a loop, according to him, we are in a cycle of Ragnarok. Now, for those who don't know, Ragnarok is actually some people think it's the Norse version of the apocalypse, the end of the world. And it is. But if you actually read the full story, it's a new beginning. The current cycle ends and a new beginning dawns. So it's actually that cycle of the end of one thing and the start of another, which is, again, those energetic shifts we're talking about. So it makes very much sense that Odin is actually saying we're in that Ragnarok cycle right now. That kind of threw me back, though, because I knew there's some big energetic shifts. I wasn't expecting that, but hey, it's cool. And again, with that, what we do at that new dawn, because you got to pick up the pieces, you clean everything up, that's going to determine where we go. So again, a lot is going to be falling onto the people of this planet to be the best they can be, to help their fellow man, that kind of thing, and to be industrious and, get out and do the work they need to do to better themselves. But if we do that, we can seriously create a lot of change and prosperity. Now, again, I do say, I know this has been a crazy week, but let's try not to talk about this week directly. I'm just talking about the energies as a whole. So I hope that answers your question, Caitlin, because Kila Yaga is an area I have knowledge of, but it's not one where I can speak directly in depth on it. So the best I can do is relate it to the things that function like it, if that makes sense to you. Yes. So see, that way we're on the terminologies that I can work best with. So let's see. I just pocket YouTubed the stream. That's great. Oh, T, that is awesome. YouTube really wanted you to see the stream, didn't I just got booty streamed. Y'all hear that? That is great. That just made my night right there. That's it. My week's perfect. That done it. See what we got here. Okay, Mystic Lavender White Wolf. I almost had my Dragon Wand done. I did add Dragon Oil to it and just need an amethyst to add to it. Ooh, that sounds wonderful, Mystic. Mystic, if you are in the Discord, I'd love to see a picture of it if you're comfortable sharing it in the images area. That would be awesome because that sounds beautiful. Oh, don't worry about typos. Believe you me. Look at these big bratwurst fingers here. My typing sucks. Don't believe me? Ask Bornoldus. He's up in here. I trigger that boy all the time. He's like a grammar junkie. So yeah, I trigger him all the time with my typing. Don't worry about that. All right, let's see. Yeah, amethyst is really good at boosting energy. So yeah, that's going to be a freaking awesome wand. I would have to agree with that myself. It'll be awesome. See, there it is. I knew it. You'll survive, Bernaldus, or you won't. Either way, we'll be laughing. Let's see. Do you have a video on what one can use the Dragon's Eye seal for? I have seen it in multiple places, but haven't dived into it yet. We do have a video focusing on the Dragon's Eye seal and a few of its uses. I am wanting to do a second video on other uses of it, but and there will be other uses of it that I know that will be released in the Dragon Magic 102 course. I got to speak with the dragons as to whether or not they'll let me release those uses before the course. But some of the uses should be able to be found in the video on it. But a few things is it can be used as a stand-in sigil for contacting different elemental dragons, because it does actually have the elements in it, as well as the zodiac dragons and planetary dragons. That would be a short rundown of it. Let's I just handle the popcorn. See, Luna's ready to watch me bugborn. Oh, Lord. Don't worry, Born. We won't pick on you too bad today. I think it's our turn to pick on Peachy. We got to pick. Everybody got to pick on Peachy today. You know what I mean? We got to take turns. Actually, though, since we did bring up the Dragon's Eye seal, I keep getting asked questions about when I'm going to do videos on the High Rulers. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Because I do plan to get Nocturnaris and Luminescra's video done. I don't think I've done Luminescra's video, so I need to still shoot that. But above that, energetically speaking, the rulers get hazardous if you're not ready to deal with those energy currents. There's not really a lot of throttling in and out of those energy currents when you work with them. And I was wanting to do all the videos, but I have a lot of people attempting to jump well ahead and getting themselves in trouble and then emailing me. So I'm hesitant to do the higher rulers just yet. So I may pace those videos out a bit more for the final few rulers there for that reason. But we will be seeing those videos eventually. But right now, I am wanting to focus more on the Rune Magic class, which, as you all know, it's coming out little by little, lesson by lesson. Lesson 1, Freya's actually released this week. So for those of you interested in runes, I hope you saw it, and I hope you're doing the homework. And if you haven't seen it, check it out, because it does have a homework assignment entailed. And as long as I can stay on schedule, we'll continue releasing the rune lessons about every 2 weeks. Also, I am wanting to get some videos out on Lucifer, as you all asked earlier in the stream, so that's definitely going to be coming. But doing the rune class, I have been feeling a deep, heavy pull back to working more in depth with Norse magic. So there's a fair chance I may shift some of my videos more Norse magic side for a little while I'm doing that research as well as sharing a bit more about my Norse practice here on the channel during the live streams. Just so y'all know what's been going on. Because as much as I do work with the Norse almost weekly, so I don't know why this heavy pull's there, but usually if you feel those pulls, there's a reason, and I totally want to make sure I listen to the call as it was. Let's see, Mystic Lavender White Wolf. I can send you a pic through Messenger, Facebook. My phone still has. Okay, Facebook is fine. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, I understand the technology problem. Technology hates me. It's a miracle I can manage to run this channel. It really is. Animal Man, glad you made it. Glad you made it. So yeah, I am actually hoping though to do a magic video detailing the seed magic a bit more. I've been getting a lot of wonderful emails and comments about how you all enjoy when I do ritual demos. Um, because many of you know I've made the comment. I don't know how I feel about rituals online because they feel like if you record them, they almost feel dead watching the videos. Or I thought they would. Many of you are telling me that's actually not the case. In fact, you find them very helpful. But more importantly, it gives you an idea of how to set it up and work it in a way that words or even just writing it up in text doesn't do. So that's really awesome to know. And because of that, I am actually considering even rituals that I don't do on a regular, perhaps recording as a demo video. So that's possible plans. So yeah, we got a lot of things that might be coming down the pipeline here. Luna, maybe you start treating tech as a good boy who's believe it or not, I talk to my computer. I do. It's about the only thing I know to do. I'm not good at fixing them. It's like, come on, please work. Is there an archangel that's better than others to combine with dragon magic so I can work with both angelic magic and dragon magic at the same time? Or does that depend on the subject? Honestly, in my experience, all dragons actually work fascinatingly well with angels. They really do. Now you could actually match up the subject you're working with. So you can find dragons that work in that subject well, and you can find archangels that work in that subject well. So, for example, if you're dealing with protection, you could go to the earth dragons and go to Archangel Michael, and they would work really well together. And since they both share that focus, you're going to be doubling up your results there. But again, all dragons will work with all angels just fine if you want to use it that way. For healing, of course, you could go to Coralegra and Raphael. So you could mix and match them that way. I have not encountered an angel that has an issue with dragons, which I find funny because growing up, I always heard Archangel Michael listed as the dragon slayer. And working with him, I found out that that was from a religious symbolic context, not the literal. He has no problem with actual true dragons. So that was a fascinating little find for me. And over the years, him, me, and the dragons have worked together a lot. He's actually probably my favorite archangel to work with. And if you ask me if there's one archangel that works really well with dragons, I'd actually have to pick him. Ironically, because of the people, so many people giving that Dragon Slayer title. So it's a little ironic that if I choose just one, it would be him. But I would actually say if you can match them up to what you're working on, you're going to get your best results. That's a great question there. Great question. Thank you for that one. Say, Mangrove Exotics. Drake, do you have any working knowledge of Ishtar, Inanna, and Aphrodite? It has been a long time since I've worked with these entities. Oh man, and I am drawing up a blank too. If I remember correctly, Inanna is one of the deities that descended into the underworld, or was that Ishtar? Am I remembering my myth correctly? Because I do tend to flip flop these a lot. Now, Aphrodite, I've not really worked with that one a lot. The only workings with Aphrodite I've done at all was working in love spells early on in my career and craft when I did work a bit with Greek mythology. But yeah, but now Inanna, when it came to her descent of the underworld, that's really my working knowledge with her. because you have the different trials, the different gates she had to pass through, and every time she shedded, she gave away something else as she descended. So I did a path working with her for a while that dealt with that descent into the underworld that ultimately led into a death and rebirth scenario where you then proceed back out. That was hands down, that's the most memorable working I did with her. But most of the workings with her dealt with the underworld or rebirth in many ways and shadow work. But that's the big one, Mangrove. And I may actually have to do a video on that particular path working with her, or because it's more of a guided trance meditation that you do multiple times over and over. So I may actually have to record that because, man, that was a great one for me back. I remember that. I was just making sure I had my names right before I misquoted there. But yeah. Giovanna, thank you. Archangel Michael has been forgiven. I despise Dragon Slayers. Yeah, he gets a bad rap because the title is symbolic, not literal. So that you got to kind of understand that there, which I didn't for the longest time. So I was really glad to find that out because I really do like Archangel Michael in so many ways. And I really was having trouble with that whole Dragon Slayer thing. That was a problem with me too, Giovanna. It really was. So I was glad to find that out. And I did double check it with the dragons too. I know people say angels can't lie, but what the heck? I wanted to double check anyway. And the dragons totally backed him up on it all the way. Yeah, actually, that's one thing. I try to avoid saying these gods or goddesses are all the same. Um, but I would agree that the energies are so freaking similar. For those three, well, Aphrodite, her energy felt similar, but there was a differential to it, so I'm not 100% sure on that one. But the other two, honestly, they really felt like they could be the same being just with a different spelling. They really did. Um, but I always hesitate from just saying they are the same because there are so many entities that share so many similarities and they can still be different. Um, so I'm kind of in that little weird spot where I totally see what people saying, where it's just the same entity with a different mask, and I have no problems with that thought process because I see where you're coming from. But I also don't like to back myself against a wall like that, and I like to leave myself that opening just in case. You always got to consider what if, and you always got to be ready to consider and think and stay mindful, or at least that's what I try to do. But no, I would have to agree with their energy patterns on that. Selena, welcome. So glad you could make it. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so I will add that to the to-do list. Actually, I got me a little piece of paper here written down. Let's go ahead and write that down there. Nana. Decent. There we go. Got it. See, there we go. Got the note made right here, right now. So I will get to, I'll dig in my old journals, find that, and see about how to get that recorded for y'all. That'll probably be a long video. So I'll try and get it out. Let's set the goal for the end of the year on that one, shall we? That's going to be my goal. I'm going to try. Don't lynch me or something like that if I don't get it, please, please, please. But we will try and get that. Let's see. This random. Heyo, when Samhain, I started my work with the ruler of the dragons of water, and she is helping me a lot with my panic attacks. Thanks for the advice you gave me the last time. Random, my man, I am glad, so glad we could help you. That is awesome. I know so many people with panic attacks, and I have had to help so many people calm down. I know that's not easy to live with, so I am so glad that Core Allegra is being able to help you with that. That is awesome to hear. Thank you for sharing that. Getting led to them by phantom odors. Mangrove, that's actually pretty cool. Phantom odors, actually, that's one of the ones that once I actually developed my arcane smell so I could pick up on them, that's one of the ones, anytime I pick up on a phantom odor, it gets my attention. I don't know why. But we do know that, like, the ability of smell is actually tied to memory more than almost anything other sense. So I think that actually would be a very powerful one to trigger insight. And in my experience, it does seem to work pretty well. Other than my experience, I can't back that up with anything. Other than we do know the physical smell is tied to memory. Maru the Wanderer. Little late. Better late than never, Maru. Better late than never. And we still got time in the stream. I had someone Sunday come in literally when I was saying the goodbyes. I felt so bad. I did. I felt so bad. Selena, ever heard of anything linked to Eritrea, the country? I've heard of many powerful witches and priests that practice with witchcraft there. You know what? I have heard of witches all over the world from different places, and geography wise, I have trouble keeping track of names. Y'all know I suck at names. But so I'm going to have to say no, not specifically, because I can't actually recall the name or the direct area, and I apologize for that, Selena. But we do see a lot of powerful witches and practitioners in many, many parts of the world that do seem to be having really good effects on their individual areas in most cases. There are some practitioners who are getting accused of some of the problems. So I mean, I guess that's part of the balance. I mean, dragons always talk about that balance. But as far as directly, I apologize, Selena, I don't. Array play. Have you ever worked with a demon? Oh yeah, all the time. Lucifer, Azazel, Paimon, Belial, Cithri, Asmodeus, Abaddon, Lucifuge, Raphael. Well, Lilith, Samiel, Namal, and Abramelech, as well as Adam Belial. So yeah, I've worked with quite a few demons in my time. See, Giovanna, Core Allegra is fantastic. Oh, hell to her. She has me reading this book, and my transformation has been awesome. That is great to hear, Giovanna. I swear to God, we hear about Core Allegra practically every stream. You all clearly love that old girl, which I don't blame you. She is awesome. She really is. And y'all know Peachy up here in the stream. She's in here a lot. I think she's going to have her a Church of Core Allegra going before long. Don't know if Core Allegra will agree to that. She's not much on the worship category. But yeah, she has been a big help to a lot of people this year. Her and Ingus, those two seem to get the big credit for helping people. I think they're definitely going to take the Big Helpers of the Year award. Rosemary, I've heard some people say Greek gods are kind of difficult to work with. Have you found this to be true? I didn't have any trouble with Aphrodite, Hades, or Zeus. Now I will say me and Zeus butted head on a thing or two, but that was just difference of opinion, nothing major, and we was able to get past it easy peasy. It's oddly understanding, which I was not expecting. I was expecting him to dig his heels in and just, no, this is how it's done. Honestly, the big pantheon that I've had the most difficulties with is the Egyptian one. That is hands down the most difficult and stubborn pantheon I have ever worked with. And it did not take long before I was like, okay, we're done here. I'm not working with y'all. Bye. And me and Raw did not part on good terms. Some of you in the Discord know what that is, but we'll just keep it civil here. Now, Sobek, I did enjoy him. Isis, I actually got along fairly well with. But yeah, the Egyptian gods are the ones I found the hardest to work with. I don't work a lot with Eastern entities, whether from Asia, China, or India, but all the ones I've worked with, as long as you approach them within cultural respect, I found them to be very, very pleasant. I've been honored enough to work with a few Native Americans and be invited to ceremonies and have the opportunity to interact with those entities. And I found them awesomely respectful and really cool to work with. But I keep coming back to the Norse entities as my favorite. And I know that this is partially because of my personality. Not only do they really put that honor and respect up front, which many of the others do, but there's some of the ones that are the biggest on teaching you to do it for yourself, not doing it for you. They're the ones least likely to do something for you as to help you do it for yourself. And that's really more my speed. And I really adore them for that. But yeah, I personally, of the Greek gods I worked with, I never had an issue. Oh, I worked with Nike too. I actually enjoyed working with Nike. A lot of fun working with him. But the ones I worked with, I didn't have any issues. But I've not worked with enough of them that I can say the Greek gods in general. Just the ones I worked with, I didn't. Now, the Egyptians, I had an issue there. I hope that helps you out and answers your question a little bit. The random. I am a witch from Bulgaria. Hey, welcome. Great to have a viewer from Bulgaria. That is awesome. You know, if you would have told me a year ago that I would have a fan base globally, I don't think I'd have believed it. And I still don't believe it. I see the people in stream here, and I see the views that the channel gets, and it floors me and humbles me. You guys are awesome. You really are. I appreciate it. What dragon do you suggest for a beginner in the dragon topic? Honestly, I recommend starting with your guardian dragon, hands down. That's where I would start. I would build up that relationship with your guardian dragon, spend at least 2 weeks, maybe a month, really working with them and getting to know them. Then move to the co-magician. Again, spend another 2 weeks or a month working with them and your guardian at the same time and build that relationship. Then I would choose one of the first 4 rulers, earth, air, fire, water, to work with. And on this one, I would say if you're unsure, start with Terrafana, the earth dragon. She's going to be the easiest, the most patient to get along with. But if you know for certain of those 4, you have a hard pull to one element, start there. I hope that helps you out there, KMA. Okay, we're jumping. Woohoo! I'm losing track. It's okay. We're good. Do you have a favorite demon? Oh, that's a tricky one. Favorite? Azazel may actually win that one. He really may. I don't know. Him and I get along really, really well. At this point, he's a good friend of mine. And I've really enjoyed working with him. He tends to be my go-to, so I guess that would be my favorite if I had to pick one. So I have a question. When you get your dragon form, you are humanoid dragon or you look fully like a dragon? Both. You can actually be kind of humanoid dragon looking image, or you can go full dragon. Sometimes it starts more of a hybrid into the full dragon. And mind you, this is only shape shifting in the astral. It doesn't affect your physical form, but yeah, it'd technically be both. Josh, I found Lilith difficult to work with. I've been told that. I really have. And actually, I expected her to really be a pain. But I've enjoyed working with her. Now, that's not to say she can't be difficult at times. She can be. She can be a real hard edge to work with. But she kind of gives me that really strict Southern mama feelings, the best way I can describe it, because there's this caring to it, but you know not to give her a funny look because she'll knock you through the wall. But I have enjoyed working with her. I didn't think I would. I've heard a lot of horror stories about her. But I really did. I thought I'd have a problem working with her, and I was really not looking forward to it. But I am actually very thankful that my experience with her has been nice. And I do see why people can find her difficult. Totally understand that 100%, Josh, every way. So yeah, but I've enjoyed my time with her in what time I've spent with her, and I'm looking forward to working with her more. See, Kayla, I'm from Brazil. You are awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. You're awesome too. And Brazil, ooh, man, I gotta get to Brazil. I ain't lying. That is one of my vacation destinations. That's on my to-do list. Let's see. I might approach them as I get more comfortable with dragons, but I was told when they need to be given a lot of specific physical offer. No, dragons don't care about offerings at all, Rosemary. I'm not sure where you heard that. Honestly, dragons, the biggest offering you can give a dragon that they want is respectful, genuine friendship. That's the biggest one. And when you're doing working with them, if you want to actually give them an offering other than your gratitude and friendship, they take energetic offerings. I go over this in the Dragon Magic 101 course, and we talk about this all the time in Discord. One of the best things you can do is just put energy into something and set it there on the altar or whatnot, and they'll take it. They also love food and drink. They really do. So I often charge a piece of quartz crystal and just set it there and let them have the energy. And that's the energy they want, as well as the food. Let's see. Honestly, Josh, I'll admit, Lou's a good guy. He's the one I avoided working with the most for the longest time. But oh man, I have enjoyed working with him. I haven't worked with him as much as I'd probably like to, but anytime him and I work together, it's a blast. So getting the notes together for this video on Lucifer, it's been a lot of fun because I've gotten to really sit down and chat with him man to man, mano a mano, in a very almost like sitting in a bar and chatting with a friend kind of scenario. And it's been absolutely awesome. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this. Let's see. And Giovanni, you're in Germany. Nice. That's another place I want to get to. I'm going to need a lot of plane tickets. I can see this already. I want to travel too much. Now, see, Josh Hecate is one that I enjoyed working with, but I did actually find her a rough ride. That came out wrong. I found her rough to work with. I really did actually enjoy my work with her. She was rough. She was a real rough drill sergeant kind of thing. I did enjoy it. Rosemary, I meant the Greek gods need a lot of physical offering. Oh, yeah, that is correct. I apologize, Rosemary. I do apologize. Yes, I would agree with the Greek god thing. They do tend to like their offerings quite a bit. Let's see. And Josh, thank you for the donation, my man. Appreciate it. Mugs up to you, my man. Mangrove, people recently have been trying to tell everyone that working with Lilith is a closeted Jewish practice. I don't understand that logic. Lilith actually appears within the Jewish text quite a bit. In fact, that's one of the first archaeological appearances we do actually see of her as the first wife of Adam. And there are actually many instances in the Kabbalah and the Qliphothic practices, both which are in Jewish roots, that Lilith appears in. In fact, in the Qliphoth, Lilith is one of the prime entities you work with. The entire energy current is based around Lilith and Lucifer. So they do play a very, very dominant role there, as well as in the Kabbalah, she shows up a few times as well. And due to this and her history within the Jewish traditions, there are people who do say it's a closeted Jewish practice. And I'm not even going to pretend I know the Jewish side of the Kabbalah or the Qliphoth detailed enough to say I can fully give you a detailed layout. But I can tell it from an outside perspective, and it's that outside perspective that many of these people are looking at. And it's because of those associations that Lilith is getting that reputation. This is something me and Lilith actually sat down and talked about, and she doesn't mind that because she doesn't mind her roots, but she does want people to know that she's more than that as well. So it's, it's one of those things where it's like, I get it, but at the same time, I'm the guy that if your practice is working for you, it's yielding results, I ain't gonna judge you. You do what you gotta do. I don't know if you heard that, but I think he's compensating for something. So yeah, I do understand where they're getting it from, but I do think it's a little rude to phrase it that way. But then again, I guess my opinion of rude and respect don't really amount to a hill of beans. But that would be the general ideal of it, Mangrove. Okay, and we jumped again. Woo, okay. See, I feel that way about Josh. I feel that way about Bilal. I haven't worked with him. Worked there like I want. Have you felt about Lucifer? But Lucifer was completely natural for me. Yeah, honestly, and I'll admit it. I grew up in the church. I taught in the church even for a while. So, I'm guilty of a bias when it came to Lucifer. I really was. That's why I avoided him. And that's totally on me. And I apologized the first time I worked with him once I realized what happened. Because it was completely unintentional. But I still made sure to apologize. And honestly, he's been absolutely wonderful every time I've worked with him. And Peachy says, let's get those likes up. Yeah, we got 24 people in here and 22 likes. Smash that like button. Get those likes up. All right, let's see. Random. I enjoy the hat. Even my spirit cat said, why don't you buy hats like that? Well, your spirit guide has good taste, and so do you, man. I appreciate it. I really do. I actually lucked out because I actually wore one of these into the ground where it's falling apart. I still have it. I take it camping with me. But when I ordered this one here, there was a mix-up in the orders, and they emailed me and was like, don't worry about it. We corrected it. Well, the mix-up, I got a box, and it looked like this. Only there was two of them in the box, and it was smaller than this. And they were freaking bright pink. I kid you not, bright pink. And then like 2 days later, this shows up in the mail. And I was like, how do they ship a hat and then it get from Australia to here in 2 days? That don't make no sense, does it? And then like a week later, I got a second hat, just like this, an identical hat, which I still have in the closet put up for when this one goes out. So I actually have a spare hat. I really do. And I actually gave the bright pink ones away to some little girls I knew who liked my hat. So unfortunately, no, I don't still have the bright pink ones. Oh, and it jumped again. Let's see here. Oh, Halloween! So glad you can make it. And yes, do feel free to laugh at the pink hats because those were okay. First off, they were funny, but I will admit they were adorable as could be. Let's see. Selena Nigel found out that I have been using wrong candle colors for her a couple of weeks ago. She laughed at me. Yeah, when it comes to entities, I go with personal gnosis. I'll talk to them and ask them what candles to use if they care. Most of them seem not to mind overly too much unless I'm dead set on matching it, and then they'll make fun of me if I'm not matching it. So I usually go with personal gnosis over other people's correspondences. But they're usually good on letting me know. Yeah, I've had a lot of people try to tell me that as well, Mangrove. And that's one big thing that I'm going to be doing a video on Lilith. She made that clear when me and her was working together for this Cliffothic path working. And that's one of the things she is dead set I put in that video is the fact that she actually adores men and she wants more men to work with her. And she's actually a little miffed. I mean, she seems upset over this men cannot work with her attitude. So I'm not 100% sure where that comes from. But yeah, she definitely enjoys working with men, and she's actually hoping more of us guys will work with her. So that's something she seems dead set I put in that video. But I gotta get the Lucifer video up first. I promised y'all that one first. Lauren, let's see, welcome. Could you talk about Odin's wild hunt a bit? Confused on the gnosis of it. Okay, on your gnosis of it. Oh, on my gnosis of it. And Josh, thank you for another donation. Drake the man, show your support. Ah, man, Josh, I appreciate it. Okay, yeah, the wild hunt. This is actually a good one. I might actually need to do a video on this. Okay, so the wild hunt actually has its mythology through several different cultures, Norse, Celtic, and others. I think Norse, Celtic, and Scottish perhaps might be the biggest. Or Ireland, yeah, which I think all those end up being Celtic. Anyway, so the wild hunt actually is often attributed to Odin and or the Fae. And there's many entities that tend to take part in this wild hunt, from the Green Man, the Yule King, Odin. Then there's actually hounds and horses, and depending on what lore you're reading, there's all kinds of entities that are taking place in this hunt, and it rides out. And depending on the lore you're reading, it will take place at different time periods or even just a singular night. Now, in the Norse myths, one of the ones you hear the most common is that the wild hunt rides out, and it's usually the riding in the nights following Samhain up to Yule. It's not every night, it'll be random, and sometimes people say the riding out and hunt, the hunt lasts that entire time period. It does get a little sketchy in there. But Odin is supposedly the one that most often leads this hunt. Now, the thing is, when you're talking with these entities, they will tell you who leads the hunt does shift depending on factors that took place over the last year. And occasionally they'll have a guest huntsman, someone who leads it as a guest, someone who did something grand or special, and they've recently passed or ascended, and now they get the opportunity as the guest to lead the hunt, which really sounds pretty freaking cool to me. But now this is really ties into Norse mythology, because It's actually on Yule where we get the concept of stockings. So kids would actually leave their boots by the hearth, and Odin, it's written both ways, on his way out on the hunt or his way back in. He would leave gifts for them in their stocking. And if they had been hardworking, they'd been good to their parents, well behaved, honorable, respectful children, um, showing that they intended to grow up into that type of an adult, he would leave them with treats, something nice, something fun, sometimes food, whatnot. But if they hadn't, that he would actually leave them coal, which was more a symbol of labor and work, telling them to work harder, and they would get something next year if they improved and were more honorable and worked harder. So that's kind of where that comes from. And in my gnosis with Odin, yeah, he does lead the hunt. He does go out, and he often does so it's kind of a visage that looks something between the Great Wonder and his warrior aspect. And often you will see him even draped in crimson, which is absolutely hilarious because when you see Odin draped in crimson, because he wears heavy furs, so he's got this massive crimson cloak and coat that's trimmed in fur. Dude comes out looking like Santa Claus, really does. And this is also one of the reasons some of the Santa Claus myths do tie into Odin. But he will often ride, well, he always rides with the hunt, but he often leads it, and he rides forth on Slafnir, his eight-legged horse, which some theorize this is where Santa's eight reindeer come from. I see the connection, but it also might be a stretch. I'm just going to say that. And of course, he leads it with, of course, his spear, Gunjar. That's the biggest chunk of that information that I actually do know of, Lauren. I probably should spend more time talking to Odin about the Wild Hunt, but so far we tend to focus more on rune magics and stuff. But I hope that answers some of your questions, your curiosities, or perhaps gives you an idea of further research. Whoa, we jumped again. Okay, crazy, crazy jumping. Okay, I am getting behind with my rantling. Josh, man, I do appreciate the donations. It is very much welcome. Thank you for supporting all the work that we're doing here, man. I appreciate it. Mangrove, I believe, is an attempt to get less people to work with the dark entities. Mangrove, that could very well be a possibility. And that's one thing I'm trying to change here. Because y'all know Dragon Magic's my main focus, and they talk about a balance. You can't have a balance without light and dark. They're one and the same. They're the same coin, two sides of it. You got to have them both. That's the only way you can live a full life, if you ask me and the dragons, and that's what I'm going to try and do. No, Josh. She actually doesn't like working with men. She really does. Even straight men. Let's see here. The random. In my family, we have a close practice. Do I have to do that close practice just because my ancestors used to practice it? The random, that's a really good question. In all my work with ancestors, this is a question that comes up a lot. And every time I've approached it with any student or seeker who's wanting to learn, their ancestors were okay with them learning anything else and following their own path, but their ancestors did like it if they were honored in some way, even if it's just an ancestral offering. So my recommendation here would be to do a simple hailing ritual to your ancestors, or if you know a ritual for them, ask them, seek their guidance. I'm willing to bet they'd be okay with it random. Let's see, Selena. Yeah, see, Selena, I would agree with you on that. Honestly, our ancestors love to see us grow and pursue. They don't want to lock us into something and just get stagnant. They have a greater understanding, and because of that, as long as you're pursuing and being the best you can, and in so doing, living the best life you can live, you're honoring them in the process. They love that. So let's see, Mangrove, I have to agree. Do what you are comfortable. Yep, see, everybody here is in agreement. Lauren. Okay, Lauren, we caught up with your comment after my rant on Odin. Nice. I've just heard people mention it recently. I appreciate it. I've heard it referenced in regards to Artemis before as well. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. There are multiple entities that take part in the wild hunt. It's not just one entity on a horse with a few dogs. It is a large hunt. And it's fascinating to me. It really is. Because this is one of those instances where we have an event taking place that shows multiple pantheons and cultures working together, celebrating the season in a similar way. And the wild hunt is actually that happening. And it's a truly fascinating concept. And I really am wanting to do more research on it, Lauren. I was trying to find more books and stuff on it that would go into more detail, but everyone I find takes one side and that's it. That's it. They don't approach it deeper. I've not really been able to find one that goes into the entirety of the hunt. That may be a good research project for me or someone else who's interested in it. But if I do it, I'm going to actually try to approach it and get gnosis from each of the primary huntsman that actually takes part in the hunt, as well as identify who those huntsmen would be, because I only know a handful of them right off. Let's see what we got here. Random. I'm 17-year-old boy. Expect for me to practice. Let's see. Necronomicon things. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say that, but risk it. I've done a little research with the Necronomicon and whatnot, random. I am actually wanting to do more research on it. I'm not going to say I have any understanding of your family's practice because family close practice is just that. And family can be rough. So I will say this: when at home, try to respect your family as best you can, but also be true to yourself. I always believe a person should be true to themselves. But do try to respect your family and your ancestors as much as possible in that process as well. I hope that is helpful. Selena, these full moons have been making me emotional. Yeah, the full moon has been wreaking havoc on a lot of people. The best I could tell you, Selena, is try to ground out, shield, and or take that energy and direct it into spell working so that instead of the excess energy, you're utilizing it to shape it and help you manifest your goals. That's what I do. That's how I prevent all these astrological energies from affecting me. I always make sure it's being directed. If you want, I have a video. It's titled Mercury Retrograde, but I go into detail in that video how I actually direct that energy into my goals and manifest it so that it doesn't affect me. I'm the one in control, not it. So check out that video, Selena, after the stream finishes up. I think you'll like it. Giovanna, how about writing a book about the wild hunt? Well, you done called me out on that, didn't you? Yeah, actually, I am looking to possibly do a book. I'll be honest, getting things out in text is not my best medium. I'm a better talker than I am a writer. That's one reason video mediums work real well for me. But Giovanna, you're correct. Whether I do it in a video series or in a book, I need to get that done. That's kind of what I did with Dragon Magic. Couldn't find the book, so we just started publishing, didn't we? And I think with the Wild Hunt, I need to do the same thing. I would absolutely agree, and I deserve being called out like that. I appreciate it. Tip my hat to you on that one. Because you're right. You want it done, just do it yourself. That's how you do it, right? Jay the Similar. Hello, greetings from the deep South Texas. Wow. Hey, Jay, welcome and greetings. Always good to see a fellow Southerner up in here and a Texan, all the same. I have to say, you guys got some good barbecue. I actually got third place in a barbecue contest about 8 years ago, just outside Dallas. And honestly, I love this state of Texas. If it wasn't for the heat, how you all go out there in 100-degree weather, and many of you's wearing black shirts. I wear black, but not in that weather. Y'all's a tough breed. You really are. You really are. One of my best friends, he was like a brother to me, was Texan. So it's great to have someone here from Texas. Let's see, Lauren, would be a really cool video for Yule. The Norse pagans I've spoken to seem to associate the hunt with Yule time. Yeah, because of that association with Odin and Yule and leaving the toys or the coal in the boots. Yeah, it's heavily associated with Yule. And you're right, that would be a great Yule time video, Lauren. Thank you. Look at you giving me ideas. That would be a great time to actually do a good summary on it. Thank you. We're going to write that one down too. Selena, wait, that is literally exactly what Hecate told me. Well, see, I'm giving the advice of a goddess. Honestly, that's gnosis that I've pulled from entities and how to direct it and how to take charge of my life, because the whole concept is I'm a magician, I'm a mage. I'm supposed to be in charge of the energies and the direction of my life. Ha 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 ha. So why would I sit down and let the stars decide what's happening? And I'll be honest with you, Odin was quite condescending when he was telling me that, but he was right. So I'm not surprised Hecate was telling you that at all. But check out the video. I think you'll find it very useful. And yes, I'm hyper tonight if y'all can't tell. No, the Simon Necronomicon is not closed at all. That is the one I'm planning on researching a bit deeper because I do get a lot of questions about it. Have for, God, 15 years. And those are some of the questions I want to try and actually play around with and answer. So we can expect, once I get this stack of research over here cleared up a bit, that's what I'm planning. Let's see, Mangrove. I love Texas. Can't wait to move back. Well, clearly, the Lone Star State has a lot of love up in here tonight. Yeah, that's what everybody told me. If you move there, you get used to it. And honestly, Texas is on my retirement list because the wife wants someplace warm. So it's on the retirement list. It is. Not going to lie. Although if we retire to Texas, I'm shooting for a Texas Pitmaster title. I am. I will shoot for it, and that'll be my goal before I die if we move to Texas. Let's see, random. Let's working with falling gods. You have to call them. The watchers will help you with them. Yeah, that's a reasonable description, random. Let's see. Though some people do question whether they're actual entities or egregores, and that's one of the questions I do hope to answer. But in the times I've worked with them, they seem very, very tangible. They don't seem egregore at all to me. But the exposure was so limited, I want a deeper dive in it before I make any final conclusions. Y'all know me. I need more data before I make conclusions. That's just me. I'm too picky. But it gets me good. It does well, and I get good results. So we'll work with that. Let's see, Mangrove. See, Josh, Lucifer told me he never fell, he rose. Actually, yeah, that's true. Which is kind of ironic because he didn't actually fall. He stood up for individuality and freedom. He didn't actually fall. He wasn't even thrown out. His departure was he chose it. So he didn't fall. In the biblical context of the word fall. In fact, he's not demonic. When you work with Lucifer, you'll find out he's actually still an angel in every respects. So it's actually fascinating, this being that he is, and he actually rose above being just an angel because of this. So yeah, that would actually be a true statement, Josh. And yeah, KMA is right. The Bible is full of symbolism. And you have to read through the symbolism and meditate and interpret it to get a clearer picture of it. Really shouldn't be read as 100% literal. And many actual ancient texts should actually be read that way because parables and symbolism was how they wrote and communicated topics. The random. My practice is really messed up because I work with dragon, spirit guide, and fae. Join the club, random. I mean, I work with dragons as a primary. I work with demons. I've worked with angels. I do work with the fae a lot. In fact, many of you know I'm actually working with not only the fae queens, but the lords and ladies of both the Seelie and the Unseelie in order to detail a path working that they want to share with everyone so that you can work deeply and in-depthly with the Fae courts. And so far, what they're laying out, I've not seen anywhere else. Maybe it'll look similar to something else I've seen later on down the line, but right now, this is stuff I've not seen before. So it's a really fascinating situation. Of course, I do work with the Norse. So I'm all over the map. And y'all know I've been recently doing a path working with the Cliff Off. And I actually just got the third book that completes that path working, which joy. I'm terrified of spiders, and the entire thing focuses on the goddess Arachnia. So that final closing is going to be spiders, spiders everywhere. Why does it always have to be spiders? Anywho. Yes, I have seen the Fey Realm. I actually do spend quite a bit of time in the Fey Realm. And actually, when I'm working with these Fey Lords and Ladies for this path working, we actually are in the Fey Realms. I'm doing so through journey work, and I'm taking the notes down from that. It's not until like the last week of a 4-week working with them that they'll let me do any evocation with them. And I respect that. That's cool. I'm down with that. But the Fey Realms are beautiful, but they're also, they can be dangerous. And you got what's considered the more tame Fey Realms. And I don't really like the word tame because it'd be crazy up in there. That's the only way to it. And then you got the Fey Wilds, which there's nothing safe about the Fey Wilds. The Fey Wilds, they're well named. Everything, every plant, every blade of grass is trying to kill you. But it's still beautiful. All right, people, we are actually past our hour, so I'll go ahead and finish up the comments we got here and get closed up. Let's see. Only that, but symbolism was used secret. Yes, many of the symbols are encoded, and you actually do have to dive very deep into different studies in order to understand it. This is one reason I like getting gnosis directly from entities as opposed to trusting correspondences or books. Sure, those researches are a starting point, but at the end of the day, I prefer it straight from the horse's mouth, and I'd like to work directly with the entities. Giovanna, if you're up to a different interpretation of the Bible, read the works of Neville Goodford. It's what Cora Allegra has me reading at the moment. Ooh. Giovanna, if I get the time, I will look into that. Thank you very much. I actually did teach in the church and spent a lot of time studying, and theology still, I find it interesting. I'm not really religious, well, I'm more scientific, but even in my magical practice, I take a scientific approach, but I still adore theology. It's amazing I believe there's a lot of wisdom that can be learned from the different viewpoints and stuff. So I'll do that. Thank you very much. Jaren, hello. What should I do to meet and greet with my guardian in Astral Sanctum? I can't communicate with them so far. Okay, so if you've done the guided meditation and you've actually found your guardian using the guided meditation video here on the channel, if you can't see them in your sanctum, you can just talk to them, even if you can't see them and hear them, because what it is your arcane senses haven't built up enough. We do have a free class over at workingdragonmystic.com. It's an arcane senses class. Well, actually, arcane sight. It'll help you develop your arcane sight so you can see it and train that up. We do have a video on the arcane senses on the channel. It'll also give you some exercises to train all your arcane senses. That said, you can just talk to them out loud and do so in meditation and or in your sanctum and focus on listening. And over time, your senses will start to perceive them better. They're going to be with you all the time. So if you start connecting with them, reaching out, they're going to work with you to develop those senses and find that way for you to communicate. It does take work, though. The name sounds familiar, Selena, but I can't quite place it. The random. When I entered the Faerun's for the very first time, I got a lot of drama with gnomes. Like, they don't want to see me there at first, but now the Fae don't like people in their realm. They really don't. And you do kind of have to work your way into that in order to get that. I got dragged there by dragons. I did. It was the Chaos Ruler. He's like, we're going to go see Mab. No, we not. No, we not. I did not want to see Mab. That's not how I want to meet the Fae. I don't want to go from, hey, I don't work with the Fae to, boom, Mab. But I didn't really get much choice in this. So that was my introduction. Ooh. It was a scary day. And yeah, I was like, no, we not. He's like, yeah, we are. Come on. And I was like, no. He's like, stop me. I was like, well, I can't stop you. So, which is funny because, over the years, it's like I actually did develop kind of a working friendship with Mab. And I mean, at least for my part, I would call Mab a friend. I view her as a friend. I'm not going to say she views me that way. I'm not going to speak for her. She may very well view me as a disposable puppy, and I just amuse her with my antics. So I'm not going to speak for her, but yeah. That is how I have started working with them. It was not the best way to start working, and I hope no one ever has to deal with that crap again, because that was just horrible. Hey, Cast Iron Chaos, man, welcome. Glad to see you, man. Been a while. I am still enjoying that Dutch oven you sent me. Or, well, the pot. I don't have lid. I don't think that counts as a full Dutch oven. But I am highly enjoying that, my man. Appreciate it. That reminds me, I got to jump over and check out some of your videos. I've been trying to do some of your recipes. I've done your chicken, your pan-fried cast iron chicken recipe. We enjoyed that. We did very much. And of course, everybody up in here is laughing at me getting dragged, kicking and screaming like a little girl into the Fey realms, which don't blame you. I did not handle that one like a man. I didn't. I was like, no, we are not. That was not my high point. I had heard bad stories about the Fae and Mab. I was like, no. Oh, I just got compared to Rick and Morty. Oh, Lord. The sad thing is, I actually see what you mean. I want to be able to counter this. No, it's totally different. Which makes me Morty, doesn't it? Oh, this is what I get for being honest with you all. Oh, Lord. All right. I'm glad. See, told you you'd all start your weekend off right. All right, everybody. I'm going to get off here. I have got to go hang out with a friend. We're going to be watching some movies. Actually, I believe we're even talking about catching up on The Mandalorian. So yeah, we're going to nerd out a little bit tonight, which I need because, oh man, it has been a stressful week, like I've been telling you. Which, you know what? This has been an absolute blast in here, full of laughter. This has been a lot of fun. I needed this. I feel 1,000 times better already just hanging out with you all. This has been great. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. We do have a video coming out Tuesday. And if I remember correctly, it's the Zodiac Dragon video. So many people's been looking forward to that. So if I am remembering correctly, it will be the Zodiac Dragon video that you all have been waiting for. So yay on that. In the meantime, y'all have a great weekend. Kick back, enjoy, have some fun, do some research, do some spell work, hang out with friends, goof off, enjoy the weekend. And I will definitely see you Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Magical Coffee Hour. So we can end the weekend on a high note with as much laughter and fun as we did this evening and start the week correctly. Also, if you want more ramblings of a Southern mage like me who's goofing off and hear some of my antics, we do have a playlist of research and ramblings and the Magical Coffee Hour. I've been told if you're on a long drive, they're very amusing to listen to. So feel free to cue those up, watch them, and laugh at me. And maybe learn something along the way even. All right, everyone, you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again, and I will see you Sunday. Good night.